Today we're going to take a look at this W211 E240. It's a 2003 Mercedes, and it's one of the cheapest cars around because the running costs on these are mental. So the story with this car, it's my dad's sort of muckabout toy. I don't know why he likes Mercedes. They're the most expensive, cheap car that you'll ever get. They cost nothing to buy, but the repairs on them are endless. This one here, we had an oil leak in it, just a bit of a drip. Dropped the pan, changed the pan seal around here, cleaned it all up, and just took it for a drive. And after about a 20-minute drive around the block, that's how much oil was back in this cover. We thought maybe the torque was wrong, checked everything around the seal, but noticed the oil was actually coming from this side of the car on the passenger side and blowing down the back. If you have this problem, it's actually this up here. This is the culprit. This is a sleeve seal for your electrical connector that goes into your mechatronic unit. You can obviously see the mechatronics are missing on this at the moment. I've got them out over here. But I was just going to show how this comes apart, because it's not that difficult, but there is a common snag that you'll get with these. So there's two parts that are already off the car at the moment. This and this. Put him back so you can see what it looks like when you get there. Now there'll be a heat shield just here. There's just one bolt. You undo that and pull that out of the way. Once you've done that, this little cap just pops off. You just get a screwdriver in there and pop him off, and that lets you see this little black ring. And this is just a cam. So this little collar here will have that toggle at the top. You've just got to get something behind it, pull it down, and it cams this out. Once that's done, you can just pull that straight out. And that gives us access to here. Now that piece is screwed into this piece right here on your actual mechatronic unit. So you can't get this mechatronic out until you take that sleeve seal out. Inside the sleeve seal, pull it out and show you. There's a 7mm bolt. Goes right through. That's captive. It won't actually come all the way out. And like I said, that screws down into here on your mechatronics. Now this little nut that's inside this, that's a captive nut. And I guess from repeated heating and just over time, that captive nut starts to spin, and that's what happened to us. It didn't matter how much we undid this bolt, it was just spinning the nut on that. So you got two options here really. You can get a giant set of vice grips and just rip on it until it rips that nut out. And then this piece does come off. You've got to buy a new one of those. Alternatively, what we've done, just put this down. This collar comes off, and we destroyed it getting it off, but you buy this as a whole unit, so it doesn't matter. That's your two seals. You can try and get a replacement set, but the whole unit's only cheap. You don't get that part though with it, so you want to try and save him. Basically what we had to do, this was situated in the car, and I was trying to pry on this, pull it out to put pressure on that nut, and to try and make it spin, to stop spinning so that you can get that bolt out. That, all it did there was break it. It's very brittle, and that's why it's best just to replace the entire thing. So we ended up drilling a hole all the way through. You can see there. You can then put a screwdriver on that and put an even pulling pressure, and then you get an impact wrench with a 7mm and a swivel. That goes down to your impact wrench, and if while you're applying pressure outward on that, you run that impact wrench and it cracks that free. So once that's free, it just pulls out. There's nothing else holding it in there. It doesn't screw in or anything. Don't try and turn this when you're getting it out, because it's going to be through all of those pins. And if you try and turn that, you'll just break them. So yeah, once that's out, it's really easy. Pull that out. You don't have to remove your mechatronics. While trying to get it apart, we cracked it, or we cracked all of the bolts holding it, thinking maybe we could get to it from underneath, but you can't. While we had it out, we thought we'd just give it a general cleanup. Now you've got a machine surface here and a machine surface here, so when you clean it up, they've got to be perfect. You'll see tiny little bits of, I don't know if I can focus that, but there's tiny little bits of grit and stuff that we've got to clean out of this, and then we can put it back together. Once you've put that back together, there's just a series of bolts here. It just torques down. You got to torque it in a certain order to make sure that it's all nice and flush, because there is no gasket. You don't put any sort of silicone or RTV or anything like that. They just mate perfectly together and it makes a perfect seal. So yeah, I hope this helps someone. If you come across the same issue, always check that there for leaks, because I think it was actually the initial problem, and in changing the pan we didn't really do anything. We just made that worse when we were pulling on it. Once you've put your transmission all back together, a little tip that my father learnt the hard way. On most cars, a red dipstick at the back here is your transmission oil. This is not the transmission oil, this is your engine oil. You have to remove this cover, and then down the back here there's another cap that looks just like this, but it's black, it's hidden, and some Mercedes came with the dipstick on it, others it's just a cap. It's got a little lock on it that you need to break off, and then it comes off. And yeah, if you fill this one with transmission fluid, you won't be happy. I hope this helps somebody and helps you not have to go through the pain that we did trying to work it out on our own. If it did, please like and subscribe, and take a look next time. I've got the strip out still happening on these two, and this is a little bit of a barn find over here, but I'll do an overview. I'm going to strip it right back and do a proper restoring. Thanks again.